Once it's released from the composer's pen, it's out there, it's alive.
Imagine looking at Star Wars for the first time with no music in it.
I said, you're crazy. It's a serious movie.
John Williams, John Williams, John Williams, John Williams, John Williams, the judge.
Time flies when you're having fun.
When I was about 40 years old, I lost somebody very, very, very close to me unexpectedly. It was a huge emotional turning point in my life. After that point, and approaching the blank page, I immediately knew where to go with this emotionally. It taught me about who I was and what I was doing and what it meant.
When you write music like that, John, you see a movie with no sound. And how does a theme like that come into your head?
I prefer, if I can, not to read a script and just walk into a darkened room, see a film, and react to those people, that place, the experience of this film.
So I look at this director's cut, I don't know what's happening next. And I'm bored, or I'm excited, and I need to have that memory when I write it. I think maybe I can do something in the sound of this thing.
Those looks,
Yeah,
those
to build.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Then you go into a room to compose the music. I mean, that emotion is with you. It's in your gut, and it's something real. It's something that you feel. If you don't feel something strongly, the audience is not going to.
I know.
Are you a man who rewrites a lot?
Yeah, oh, yes.
In films, too?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the whole process of writing music is not writing it, you forge it.
Composing for me is really like sculpting. I mean, you really take a chunk out of the stone, another chunk, and finally it reveals itself. What's inside the stone we didn't know when we began. We will find it. For me, the process usually is I will start working on the film, and the first week or two, I have no idea what I'm doing. He gives me these films, and it's terrifying. What are you going to do with it?
It can take lots of time. I mean, there could be days, sometimes weeks, where you stare at the ceiling, what am I going to do? And where am I going to find 2 or 3 notes that are fresh, that will speak? If you press for it, if you get writer's cramp, it won't work. You have to be easy, let it come to you. And in that sense, you don't court the muse, you wait for it and she comes.
So a lot of it comes from improvisation, and I will write notes, sketch them a little bit, sketch them a lot. Sometimes taking a note out, putting another note in, and finally you get something and you say, this is clear. This sounds like it belongs in this thing. I spend more time on those little bits of musical grammar to get them just right so that they seem inevitable.
If it would be convenient to go into the call,
It'd be wonderful if we hear some music and we say it could be only belong to that film. My attempts to support these films and reach people and through what they hear is mostly really an intuitive thing.
the first day with Steven said, "What are you going to play for Jaws?" I went, he said, "You're kidding."
I said, you're crazy. It's a serious movie.
The wonderful thing about film is it gives you so many opportunities to be a chameleon, which is to say change from a geisha to Superman. Nothing to do with each other whatsoever. But you have to try to create something that's atmospheric and thematic and the texture that will accompany what we see. In film, music represents the words that cannot be spoken. When you're watching the movie, you don't realize that that's happening to your ear and to your heart. Film music is very difficult. It's very demanding arithmetically, let's put it that way, from second to second almost.
Rumble starts about now, right?
Yep. And you'd see them now. Okay.
If the speed of music is exactly right, you won't notice the music.
Sounding loco here. Like that. At exactly 25 seconds, point one, that way.
If you're fighting the editorial rhythm of the film, metrically, one way or another, too fast, too slow, you don't have that liquid synchronization that you want.
And the boom should be when the body falls.
The body falls, right.
Speed of the film seems to change as the speed of the music changes. Put a piece of slow music to it. Suddenly, your daughter coming out of the garden gate, she seems to come out at a more languid tempo. You put a quick scherzo in, and the same movements, the same film, is altered. Speed is everything in film music.
We may have, in certain scenes, a genuine emotional target. All of these things will be in your mind. If it's to be healing, what does that?
What I have tried to do in many films that I've done is to pretty much work the ending out so that I know where the musical material is going to land and develop, and then decompose it so that individual strands of a more mature thing can be exposed singly and then collect together in the end of the film.
I'd like to believe that the audience has a sense of completion and something has been made orally that is created and aimed at that very moment.
It took me a week and a half to write that. And I go to the studio to record it, and the orchestra reads it right away. It takes them 5 minutes to master it. I think this is a very undemocratic situation. I have to work for a week and a half for something that they sight read in a quick rehearsal. They are so brilliant. Until we have an audience to hear it, an orchestra to play it, it's this. It's a piece of paper. And all we can do is fill it up with pencil marks. And that's why I'm always so grateful to the musicians.
A lot of times you will get more from a piece than you expected you're going to get. There's more than the sum of the parts there. That's the magical part of it. It's a question of what feels right, if the fiddle's sore enough.
1, 2, 3.
With orchestra, we want to capture a moment in time, and the moment is a performance. We may do 3 takes of the same scene, and the effect of the 3 takes from take to take is very different. And the third one may have a face on it that's just right, or it may seem alive.
The hours on the podium will teach you more about what you write than all criticism from your teachers or anybody else. You discover right away this can be done better by doing X and not Y. It's a little bit poetic to say it's something like love. You know when it's there. You know when it hits you.
I've often said that music for musicians is like oxygen, it's what sustains us.
How do we want the audience to leave? What do we want to give them? Maybe we can't achieve all of our goals with each project, but you send them away with part of what your hopes for that have been, and you edify them if you can, or they will edify you in some way. And you will gain as much as they will, and the audience in the process will be the beneficiaries.
Writing music is one has to be prepared to do the hard work, that's certainly true. But it's a joyous occupation. Film composing is only 80 years old or 90 years old now. This is the very beginning of an artistic medium that is going to develop in ways that I wish I could be around to see it. We all want to be remembered as someone who did well, tried to improve the world we found. We're challenged in our lives to do more, to be better, so we can grow as a species together. If I could be remembered as someone who did his job well, I would rest very happily. I have to credit music, what it does for our lives and sustaining our spirits and enriching our souls. It's like great poetry, like great literature. It's something to live for and to live by.
We all know about what John does musically. What you may not know is the warmth, the generosity, the boyish spirit of this man. The most gracious man, the gentlest, kindest man. Yeah. And a wonderful, wonderful talent that we're blessed with, all of us.
Yeah.
Wow.